Jim, what's the feeling after tonight's game?
That of frustration again, I think, Jim. You know, it's almost a kind of a deja vu scenario from the East Kilbride game on Saturday. Dominated possession, as you would expect, and we had plenty of opportunities throughout the game to wrap it up and to take the 3 points. But unfortunately, for whatever reason, we weren't able to break them down again, and it's frustrating, I think, is the main word.
I suppose in some sense you've not learned anything different from what you already knew after tonight's match.
Yeah, listen, I think, I just said to the boys in there, I mean, they look like a team, well, particularly at the top end of the pitch, they look as if we're lacking a little bit of confidence, and whether that's a hangover from the previous campaign, I don't know. I mean, they were hardly a free-flowing team last season. They were used to hanging on and grinding out results and going a goal in front, but that's not the way I envisage us playing this year, and that's not the way I want to set them up. We've set them up to be positive throughout the Betfred Cup. I think we had a terrible half of football against Dunfermline in the first game, where we obviously conceded 3 goals in the first half, but prior to then we haven't conceded, which I suppose is some sort of positive to take from it, that the fact that we look organised and we look hard to beat. But again, people will say, well, that should be the case against lower league opposition, but the fact is we need to get bodies in, and it's we need to get players in to help the players that are already here, and that's the bottom line.
You mentioned that about needing to get bodies in, and it can't help that tonight you could only name 5 on the bench. Stephen McGinn and Jim Kellerman both missing out. How are they?
Yeah, I mean, even the 5 that you can mention on the bench, Dean Linus, obviously, number 2 goalkeeper, and then 4 kids, and in fairness to the kids that have come into the squad in the last couple of weeks, they've been great. Showed a great attitude in training, and Nick McAllister gets his opportunity tonight coming on for Cammy, who's dislocated his shoulder. Nick's a centre half normally, but he was very, very comfortable at right back, and obviously Cammy Bredner came on in the last 15 minutes and was excellent, really positive, put a couple of great balls in, put one in for Danny, who whether he's onside or offside, we're not sure, but young Cammy showed a real kind of positive side to his game as well. So I suppose there are 2 things that we can take from the evening. Those 2 lads probably wouldn't have got the opportunity had the other players been fit. So that's something that we can at least take as a positive from tonight. But with regards to Stephen's got an ankle injury. Hopefully he'll be okay for next Monday. Gary McKenzie's got a rib injury. Again, we should expect him fit for next week for training, preparing for the trip to Easter Road, and Jim Kellerman obviously a dislocated shoulder. So there are 3 players that would have obviously been in the squad and possibly starting the game as well. So to lose them was a bit of a blow, yeah.
What do you feel was a team we have to do heading into that first league game against Hibs?
Well, as a club we need to get players in, that's as simple as that. We need to strengthen the squad, and it's something that we are working really hard on since I first came in the door 3 weeks ago. We've identified targets and we've made offers to players, and 1 or 2 of those players have decided to go elsewhere and do something different, and that's just part and parcel of it. But we need to show a little bit more bravery, I think, in the final third, a little bit more self-belief, and a little bit more creativity. I think if you look back at the East Kilbride game there, we had 23 shots. Alan Martin on the day had a fantastic day, and then tonight, the young boy in goal was excellent, particularly in the first half. He made 5 or 6 great saves, but we still need to find a way to score. We still need to be a bit more clinical, and I said that to the guys in there. In the Premier League, obviously we're not going to come up against too many teams that are going to sit 11 men behind the ball and make it as hard as it was in the last couple of games to break them down, but you are limited to the amount of chances you get in the Premier League, and if we go to Hibs and we get 2 or 3 really clear-cut chances, we have to make sure we're taking at least one of them to try and win the game. And unfortunately we've had enough chances tonight and against East Kilbride to win both games, and we haven't been able to take it.
Obviously there was a decent travelling support here again tonight. You can imagine, and I think it's probably fair, you can expect a bit of frustration from them as well. What would your message be to them, before that league game next week?
Listen, I have to thank them from the first minute I came in the door 3 and a bit weeks ago. They've been fantastic with me and with the players and the staff, and they've got right behind the club, as I know they will anyway. But I totally understand they're frustrating, and they have every right to show that and to to make their emotions felt towards me and the players, because they've paid good money to come and watch us at East Kilbride in a real drab affair again tonight. We're trying to entertain them, and unfortunately we haven't done that in the last couple of games. So I feel for them, absolutely. I can only thank them for the support and getting behind the team, and as I said a few weeks ago before the ball was kicked, I firmly believe the supporters are the reason that the club managed to stay up last year, because of how much backing they gave to the team at a time when probably other supporters would have be throwing their season books away and not bothering turning up. They turned up in great numbers and actually sold the stadium out. So I know how good the fans are here. I completely understand their frustrations. We're all feeling it, and we're all going to do as much as we can to try and sort it and make sure that come the trip to Easter Road we're in a much better position, and we've got a much healthier squad as well.
Yeah, I feel like I ask you this all the time, but in terms of recruitment, do you feel you're close to getting a couple more bodies in before that game?
Look, like I said, we've offered players, good players. We've made really good offers as well to these players, but unfortunately sometimes other teams come in and just offer more money, or sometimes the players that we're speaking to don't particularly want to move up this way. So we're just trying to identify good players. It's as simple as that. There's no point bringing in players that are the same as what we've got, or not better. Then it just defeats the whole purpose. We could have easily signed 6 or 7 players by now, but the fact of the matter is, I need to make sure that they're the right ones. They're going to suit the way I want to play, and the bottom line is they're going to make us better and make us more competitive. Because, as I said, I don't want to just put a team together that's just going to be good enough to survive. I want us to be able to look a little bit further up the table than that, and be a little bit more optimistic than that. I know the players, the fans, and people from the outside will be looking in and thinking we've had a really poor Betfred campaign, but we need to be realistic about where we are. I came in late into the window, and we're still working hard behind the scenes to get it right.
Jim, thanks very much for your time.
Thanks, Jim.